What is the best fighting game controller? To be completely honest and serious with y'all, there's no such thing as the best controller, but there are like top 3 controllers. Before we actually get into the controllers that I would love to actually list for y'all, we have to talk about the main points of a controller. You do not want a controller with a lot of input delay. You do not want a controller with a lot of space in between the buttons. And what I mean by that is that when you actually click on a certain button, for example, like mouse clicking, if y'all know what that is, sometimes depending on what you're actually using, you have enough space or too much space in between the button you pressing a button and it clicking a button inside of like the controller. Also, your hand should not be very deeply spaced out to where you're not able to hit certain buttons. So I'm gonna repeat that one more time. Make sure you do not have input delay, not a lot of input delay. Have space in between your buttons. You do not want space in between your buttons from you actually making impact with the button. And you want to make sure that the controller that you're using, whatever controller that you are using, you have a good firm sort of spacing on it, which you're able to hit every single button, any button on that pad as possible. Now for the first controller I want to talk about is Hitbox. Yes, Hitbox is one of the best controllers right now, or best like pads or whatever you want to call it, fighting game controllers, whatever, because of the sleek design and how its buttons are actually laid out. It has a left down and a right directional pad on the left, and at the bottom it have a thumb part to where you're able to actually turn to your jump or whatever you want to do. You are able to fully customize it. There's also 8 buttons on the right side, which allows you to have a lot of variety, especially when it comes to like Street Fighter, to where you're able to actually switch it and have a lot of fun with it. The only bad thing in my opinion about a hitbox is preferably just the pricing of it. The pricing of a hitbox is very expensive, especially if you do not have the money just blowing it. If you don't have like, or do have a job to where you're able to just, you know, spend a couple of hundred, then I do recommend you to get the hitbox. If you are used to like leverless things, it is a leverless controller. There's a lot of leverless controllers. I would be like putting down multiple links of a lot of options that you have to choose from, leverless, having a lever, etc. In my opinion, I have this as like top 3 controllers. Next, we have to talk about the PlayStation 4 pad. The PlayStation 4 pad, in my opinion, is one of the best designs ever in terms of just first-person shooters. You need in a controller, the pricing being cheap, the input delay not being bad, there's not spacing in between the buttons. Like everything that you possibly need inside a controller is in the PS4 controller. It's very smooth, it's very sleek. Like I said, I will be linking multiple other alternates, like other controllers that you are able to use, but the PS4 controllers, I'm telling y'all, it's one of the best controllers possible. Only because you are able to access it a lot of places. Like I said, the pricing, everything is just so goated about the PS4 controller. Since we talk about leverless controllers, we have to talk about lever controllers, or lever, or whatever everybody want to call it. This is basically the OG controllers for a lot of people, a lot of old heads, because this is basically like the arcade fighting sticks that everybody actually have. One thing that I do know about the leverless and the lever controller or pads, whatever you want to call them, is that there's very minor input like problems. What I mean by that is, like, if you are playing a controller, if you do not have a lot of just the best execution, if you have the same amount of skill on leverless or lever, you know, as you do on like a controller, I'm telling you, like the input errors that you will have is negative to none. One of the levers that I do actually support, I have seen a lot of people use, is the Obsidian stick. The Obsidian stick, you're actually able to replace a lot of buttons on it. You're able to customize a lot of things on the Obsidian stick. So, and plus it look cool. I've seen the Obsidian stick in person. I actually tried the Obsidian stick in person. I do like the look of it. I like the feel of it. You know, it's not really a bad leverless. I don't really rock with leverless. I'm more of like a pad player. But when it comes to actually having like a lever and like trying different controllers that I will be trying in terms of just Street Fighter or other fighting games, I do want to cop up a hitbox and an Obsidian with the stick. All the other controllers that have been recently displayed across like Evo stuff, like a pumpkin inside of a hitbox, etc., those are really troll controllers. But here's the part of the video to where I actually get in depth with some of these things. Trying to go for the keyboard, a lot of people have been asking, what about a keyboard? You can use a keyboard as long as you have mouse triggers or mouse clicks or whatever it is on the keyboard, so that way you have minimal space. And apparently if you have minimal space and don't have like mouse clicks on your keyboard, it's like a 0.2 millisecond response time. So make sure y'all try that. Now when it comes to DualSense or controllers with paddles, I have a Battle Beaver. I do not play on it, but I have a Battle Beaver. The response time on that is perfectly fine. Price ranges, it's around like 70, 80 to like 150, 200, like to the moon, because some people really get their controllers decked out. Besides like Scuff, you know, Battle Beaver, aim controllers, you know, etc. Even Sonic Fox used the Battle Beaver when he's playing Dragon Ball. Like the controller is absolutely beautiful. It's perfect. Now with the Razer Kumate or whatever, I think Kusane, whatever it's called, I have a friend that have this. This thing costs $300. It is PS5 compatible also. That's another plus. The millisecond response time is about a good, I think, 0.2 if I'm not mistaken, because I have mouse clicks for his buttons. Like I said, if you have mouse click for your buttons, if it's like keyboard and or like hitboxes, I'm telling you, it's beautiful. Now for the PS5 controller, this controller costs $70 and I have a 3.5 millisecond response time. Now the thing about this, that PS5 controllers is very bad when it comes to playing like fighting games. but apparently they have found a fix to where they are able to fix PS5 controller delay for like PS5 versions of fighting games. So make sure I try that out. Also for the PS5 horror, we have a $200 hitbox, or not even a hitbox, an arcade stick. This is a lever arcade stick. Make sure y'all try this out too. I'm just giving y'all all types of recommendations of leverless and keyboards and etc. that comments actually ask for. And the hero mini stick is going around like $70. I'm pretty sure it's basically a lever controller. I have a 4 millisecond response delay, but if you are able to overclock it, you're able to overclock it to a 1 millisecond response delay. Now for the Victrix lever and leverless, they both go for $400. I don't know what's the plus. It's more of a so like, you know, whatever you possibly just prefer. And then for the controller, it's going around 100 to 175. Now for the Astro controller, make sure I try this out. Check it out. Also $140 to $180. The only problem that I do see people have is like, I know a few friends to be like, no, their controller or their button just randomly broke, and I don't know how. Now with the Elite 2 controller, which is the Xbox controller, apparently the regular Victrix, there's a Victrix controller that you are able to use that have the best response time, and it goes around like, I'm pretty sure $100. But for the Elite 2 controller, because I know a lot of people have Elite 2 controllers for like COD and stuff, $185, 8 millisecond response time. And then for the Xbox controller, $60, 8 millisecond response time. So I covered a lot of controllers that you are able to actually look at and take into, you know, consideration and stuff. And make sure you just pay attention to other things. You know, the best controllers that ever exist basically have like 3 main things, and that's one, the pricing is beautiful. You don't want to buy a controller that's insanely just outrageous. And one is very comfortable. The comfortability of the controller have to, you know, even though it's prioritized or just, you know, preference, you do not want no controller that's very like outrageous. You do not want no controller with a crazy amount of response time to the point to where you're pressing a button and somebody's automatically countering it because your button is not coming out. Another thing I would like to say that soon I will be trying all these controllers, every single one of these controllers, sooner or later down the road, to give y'all experience type of review. Other than that, make sure you all leave a like, subscribe if you are new, hit the notification button to never miss a video, and let's hit that 1K as fast as possible. And other than that, I'm out, and JRA. Peace.